here with junior Ajane Durant, head coach Krista Kilburn-Savesky, and junior Aliana Leon. Start with an opening statement from Coach.
I'm just proud of my team tonight. The keys that we're focusing on is being more disciplined, taking care of the basketball. We had 9 turnovers. I know obviously we're growing, and we don't. There's no moral victory or no anything like that with this team. We just had a very tough, hard battle tonight, and we showed a lot of good true colors, and still came up a little bit short. But I think it's a turning point for us.
And Coach, defense has been something you've stressed all season long, especially in practice. We've noticed, but today it seemed like defense really showed up. What can you say about that?
It was them. I think these guys were, motivated and been digging themselves out of where we are, and they knew that they needed to, they didn't get down to when we had those spurts where we weren't scoring, and we didn't let it affect our defensive end. So I think a lot of our nonverbals and just how mentally it was affecting us, because there were some pretty long stretches like that, without looking at the stat sheet. So that that was them. It's just their mindset. When they're rocking and rolling like this, they're an amazingly fun team to coach, and when we don't have to coach effort.
Coach.
So we shouldn't be coaching effort. We're too good to coach effort.
Precious Hall ended up with 20 and 9, but she missed 17 shots and she had 6 turnovers. Between Ollie and Sydney Epps, it seemed like the defense was just great on her. What can you say about that?
So look at that. It's what I told you at the start of the game. She's going to have some points, and they didn't have 4 people or 5 people in double figures like they had last time. Was a little worried with Logan Reynolds at the beginning because we just kind of overshifted a little bit. She got 11 points at the first half, and then she didn't score again in the second half. But then Porter didn't get her points tonight. Barry didn't get her points tonight. We tightened up the belt a little bit on Precious down the stretch. So we did all of that. They did all of that defensively to put them in the position to win the ball game. We shot 60% in the third quarter. We got to make some of the gimmies early, as you guys all very well know. You saw it. When we have 18 buckets and they make 21 buckets, it does, and we can make those free throws too, right? So there's more than one area, but focusing and finishing on some of these baby things earlier in the game can give us a little bit of a cushion is what we need, and I think this is the turning point for us.
Coach, throughout most of the second and third quarter, it looked like JMU was able to keep you guys down by about 8 or 10 points. Heading into the fourth, you guys were able to finally break through and close that down to just a single point. What changed for you guys?
Well, you can ask them too. I think we still need to get a couple consecutive. When we stopped everybody, then we weren't scoring, and then we would get a bucket, and then they would get a bucket. So so the trading basket issue was happening before the fourth quarter. Then we got obviously a couple stops, but I think they can talk about that too, more than me. You want to ask them that again, because I know I was talking about.
Aliana, Ashane, throughout most of that second and third quarter, you guys were sort of down by 8 or 10. JMU was keeping you guys at arm's length. In the fourth quarter, you guys were able to break through and start getting buckets and close that gap. What do you think changed for you guys on the court?
Getting stops, trying to know personnel, stopping pressures, and getting buckets on the other side. I know it was hard for a couple possessions. We didn't score, but playing defense, that's a guy here.
And she got us rolling too. She hit a crazy 3 right in front of my bench right there that we'll take. But that's just confidence right there. She has the ability. And what do you think, Nate?
We just played with more intensity, We just kept fighting, the first time we played them. They definitely out-hustled us, out-rebounded us. They just played more physical, and we weren't trying to have that here at our own court.
Nathan, up until the fourth quarter, the offensive rebounding category swayed heavily in James Madison's favor, but then there's a stretch of 2 or 3 minutes where you and Sandra combined for 6 or 7 offensive rebounds, gave your team extra chances. What happened during that stretch?
Well, the first half, we barely rebounded on offensive end, and in order to get second chance scores, we had to rebound. So, we just crashed the boards as much as we can.
You only took the 1 3. You did hit it, but was there a reason other than strong defense from JMU where you only took the 1 3?
Not really. I was trying to attack the basket more, because they knew I can't shoot the ball, but they wanted to give me that lane to attack more, so I took it.
Did their defense change on you as, I guess, the guard unit in the second half? Because it seemed like swinging the ball was really tough in the first half. The second half, you were able to get assists on the board and really swing the ball more effectively.
Yes, it did. I have number 12 at some point, and I have number 10. I have a couple of them guarding me. But yeah, it changed.
It was better that we didn't choose many threes. So without, and I'll still go down with the count of most of the games, the threes that we took were the right people taking them. The problem with our threes is when we've had scoring lulls, they've scored on us, and then we take quick shots, and we just do it in small sections. And so I think it was obviously much better for us to be at 15 threes, and they were at 30, kept us in the ballgame.
As you mentioned, sort of battling back towards the end, how it changed, but there was that long stoppage towards the end of the fourth quarter, and then right after that, Jamie went on another run. Do you think that affected the way your team looked at the game?
Well, I mean, I think, we can't over-scout them with so many things that we watch so much film. They score in bunches, and it's almost like when to make that timeout, because they can score in bunches. They can have a drought, and then all of a sudden it's like bam, 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 and it's not even just precious. So it's like I know that, I see that, even with 1 minute left in the first quarter, I was like, wanting to call a timeout because I know they can go do, and it's like, you saw it was 9-16. So, but luckily we battled out of that, so it's almost like, you don't want to give them too much information, but we can't process that miss, so we can't like delay getting back and just be one step off. I mean, that just our attention to detail has just got to be more on point. And, you're not trying to like just drive a nail into the ground of like telling them that all the time, but it's just really, really on point with like certain tendencies with teams that we're playing. So, but I just, they don't need a pat on their back, but I just know that these teams and these kids right here are just ready to roll. We know what we're capable of, and just it is what it is, and then now it's just time for us to move forward and do what we're gonna do. So, Joe,
Coach, you have a bit of a bizarre scheduling situation going forward. William and Mary here on Sunday, then you got to go down to William and Mary on Tuesday, something we haven't really seen this year. How do you prepare for something like that?
We're gonna beat them Sunday first, and we're just gonna have fun on our little road trip. So that's just it. It is what it is. We'll go back to our high school days. I was a high school coach. Used to watch Nays games back to back on the weekends. Sometimes you play the same teams. So we're just going to roll with it and have a good time, but we want to take care of home court here first. Team that's very good, very well coached, but let's go. We're just ready for the next opponent.
Anything else?
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.